Hi everyone, it's me again. I just got something that I need to get off my chest because it's been bugging me for a while, and I need to send them a message directly. And if somebody can send this video to Alan F, to Michael Aaron Rove, Phone Arena, and especially WP Central. Yeah, this one's for you guys. For several months, I've been having to read all the trash that you've been talking about Sprint and the entire CDMA community in the US. You guys are even bashing Verizon, even for carrying 3 devices that are currently undercoded and under-encrypted based on current Qualcomm standards. And what Sprint, Verizon, Metro PCS, US Cellular, Cricket, C-Spire, Premier, and the rest of the CDMA carriers in the US are using for coding and encryption. But it seems that your favorite target is Sprint. And that bothers me a lot. And it bothers a lot of people in the community. Because you guys wanted Sprint to carry all these high-end devices by Nokia, which they haven't even dared to touch CDMA for almost a decade because they were stealing proprietary they had an issue against Qualcomm. Qualcomm makes all the chipsets for CDMA 2000 carriers. And they were manufacturing their own without any proper authorization from Qualcomm. But that's long gone. Supposedly they got an agreement. Because as you see, there were Nokia made an 822. Great device, but underutilized because of the current coding and encryption that is good in China, not in the US, not in India, not in Korea, not in Japan, not even in Puerto Rico. I want to see you guys answer a question. How come you've been directing all the attacks on Sprint for the lack of CDMA-based Windows Phone 7 devices? Because there were only 2 made for the US. Nokia never made the 900 and the 800 available on CDMA for US carriers. Explain me why. Don't tell me it was the carriers. No, it was actually Microsoft limiting it to one manufacturer, HTC. The ones who made all the CDMA coding, the Team Windows Phone couldn't get done right. They came on no though. Oh yes, I know about it. But you guys will still argue that Sprint is wrong on this. Sprint is siding with the customers. Sprint wants top devices. Windows Phone devices offered to Sprint and every CDMA carrier, they have been subpar. Even the Lumia 822, which is supposedly a mid-end device, is worse than a mid-end Android device, or even the iPhone, or even any BlackBerry devices. I want you to guys answer me another question. Why you guys are insisting the CDMA carriers don't need 512-bit encryption when ESDO, which I'm going to define as simultaneous voice and data operation, requires 512-bit encryption as required by Qualcomm, which pretty much every carrier, every CDMA-based carrier in the US has required 512-bit encryption. And guess what? The FCC is going to make a ruling on encryption for CDMA and GSM carriers. And GSM carriers better start getting ready, and the manufacturers, because they're gonna have to meet standards for to have their devices included on the same databases Verizon and Sprint use to have devices that are stolen or lost listed there. I wonder how GSM is going to be able to do something like this without doing any higher encryption. And I also want to explain something. I want something explained to me and to the GSM community. This actually goes to WP Central. How come you got riders from what used to be Press Central, which is now WebOS Nation, as is the site of yours, on the mobile nations? How come the moment the WebOS was dead in the US, you guys sent those same riders to WP Central and started a new campaign against Sprint because of the lack of Windows Phone 7 devices for CDMA carriers? I want you to explain to me why most CDMA carriers in the US, instead of choosing the Verizon devices, they chose the Sprint devices. I want you to explain to me why most of the rural carriers in the US, both CDMA and GSM, mostly CDMA, including Metro PCS, US Cellular, and Sprint, have decided not to carry any Windows Phone 8 devices until Microsoft comes to standards. I also want Microsoft to address one more question. When are you guys going to release an update with the proper CDMA coding and encryption? That's the only way you guys are going to get CDMA carriers in the US to carry your Windows Phone 8 devices. And then you keep asking, how come we don't have a higher share in the smartphone market than BlackBerry? BlackBerry secures their device as well. You guys haven't even scraped the surface. This is all for now. See ya.